Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Ones, empaths. This video is not an insult to anyone's political beliefs. It's no disrespect meant towards any of your political beliefs whatsoever. Because generally speaking, when you vote for a politician or prime minister or future president, future prime minister, they present themselves in an authentic way. They present themselves as if they've got your best interests in mind, right? And maybe they do to some degree. This is the thing, right? And there are some good ones out there. And this isn't, me trying to sway you to one political party or another political party. It just dawned on me today. There is a shadow work that exists behind these politicians and so-called powers that be. These so-called ones in charge. There is a shadow hand. Maybe that's a better description. There is a shadow hand at play behind these individuals. And that's why these politicians, some of them might be empaths, some of them might be sincere, authentic, but it's beyond their means of power to literally do as they please. And that's what I want to break the veil on, right? You see during their campaigns, you hear about all the great things they're going to do. And they get blamed, don't they? They get blamed when they don't, budget correctly or, do something they said they were going to do, They said they were going to build 50 hospitals and they didn't build 50 hospitals. Or they said they were going to do something for the education system and they didn't do it. And you think, oh, they're liars, they're phonies. What I want to bring to your understanding is these so-called power, the people in power, is an illusionary effect. And there's a shadow hand at work. There's people behind the scenes that are unseen, that are really pulling the strings. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. This really exists. You see? A lot of it comes down to miserly psychopaths, right? Ultra rich, wealthy. There's nothing wrong with wealth. These types of the ones behind the shadow hand, the ones that are really pulling the strings, have their fingers in many pies, So, if this so-called politician doesn't go with their agenda, there'll be news stories about how they're the worst person in the world, and there'll be propaganda against them. And, when a president serves in power, they have to be protected for the rest of their lives. It's a big sacrifice they do make to become a president. I'm not sure with prime ministers, but they do have, they're protected for the rest of their lives by Secret Service, because they're putting themselves in the public eye. They're putting themselves in the firing line, And that is an ultimate sacrifice. It's a hard job to do. But what I want to make clear to you is they're taking orders on their cell phone. They're taking orders. They're not the ultimate one in charge. Yes, they have power. Yes, they're put in a position of power. Yes, they are. But there's still a shadow hand behind the veil that is controlling them, like the master puppeteer. That's basically what I want to bring to your attention. And a lot of this shadow hand that is operating behind the scenes, I know this is off the topic of narcissism, but it isn't really. A lot of these the shadow hand that's operating behind controlling the politicians and the prime ministers and the governments are actually full-blown psychopaths, full-blown narcissists, combination of both. They actually have little to no empathy, absolutely whatsoever, towards the human population. They do not have your best interests at heart. They are happy to know that families are starving. They are happy to know that people are struggling. While you go out and work hard or raise your family or whatever it is you're doing, this shadow hand that's operating behind the government system doesn't want you to wake up. And this is why it ties into narcissism. Because they want division down to your own homes. They don't want husbands and wives getting along. They don't want children and their mothers and parents getting along. They want children to disrespect their parents. This is what they want for the world. And the world is completely divided. It's completely divided up. And they want to confuse you. They don't want you to know the truth. But you see, after you wake up to narcissistic abuse or the narcissist involved in your life, you wake up to the evil that exists in this world. And they're just a small part of the bigger picture that exists all the way through the hierarchy in the system, from the bottom to the top. It's not they're a lower down narcissist. They're the same as psychopaths. They're the same as these ultra rich, shadow hand individuals that operate the government. They're the same as them, just on a smaller scale. They're exactly the same. Same makeup, same DNA. They're the same. The same ones, and this is what I'm trying to make you understand. The same ones that cause so much havoc in your life, perhaps destroyed your family, betrayed you, broke your trust. These are the same types of individuals that exist behind the governments, that have their fingers in many pies, that pull the strings, that command and give orders to those that are beneath in the hierarchy. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is fact. The ones you see on the television or the internet or whatever news outlet you watch, these ones are not really in control. They'll take the blame. They'll be the one that people point the finger at and blame. They'll be the one that people point the finger at and praise. Right? And yes, some of these politicians, presidents, prime ministers, they try their best. They do. Some of them might be empaths just like you. They just found themselves getting into that line of work, just like a job, just like a baker or a train driver or a bus driver or a taxi driver or electrician or a plumber. They found themselves getting into politics. And just like the police force, some people hate police. This is going a bit off topic, but there's a point why I'm saying it. Majority of people that join the police force set out with good intentions. They set out with good intentions because they want to give a helping hand to the community. They want to be a public servant and help the public to make the world a better place. But a lot of them get corrupted along the way. And that's the same for these so-called politicians as well. They set out with good interests. They go and study at school. They go and study at university. They study. They build themselves up in the ranks. But then they get corrupted by this shadow hand. And this shadow hand doesn't just exist in politics. It exists in every aspect of this world. Corporations, governments, banks, religious institutions even. right? I'm not disrespecting anyone's preacher now. I'm not disrespecting anyone's imam. I'm not disrespecting anyone's rabbi. I'm not disrespecting anyone's guru. I'm not disrespecting that. What I'm saying is, they can't do what they need to do because they need authentic people on the surface level. They need authentic people in the surface level in the government. They need authentic people in the public eye, in the religious institutions, whether that's a priest, imam, rabbi, guru. They need authentic individuals in the public eye. But at the very top, beyond most people's comprehension, is the shadow hand that maybe has one or two individuals that are corrupted, that are very high up in the ranks. And then they don't act like a shelter to those beneath. You see, a good leader should act like a shelter to those beneath. But these individuals act like a linen chute and just dump down their drama, their problems, their weight load onto those that are beneath. And it falls all the way from the top to the bottom. So the bottom feel the struggle, the middle feel the struggle, the upper class feel the struggle, even the elite feel the struggle, because they're still taking orders, right? So I just want you to know that these globe holders, which I like to call them, are the biggest narcissists and psychopaths that are around. For example, the schooling system. Great idea. Educate children. Great idea. Wonderful idea. But the institution that's behind it, the shadow hand that's behind the schooling system on a grand scheme of things from a higher bird's eye view, has an agenda against your children. The problem is that we face in this world is you can't pull your children out of religious institutions and you can't pull your children out of school. You can do, but because everyone's so involved in the system, you're part of the system. You're all part of the system, as am I, part of the system. But I just want you to know that this narcissist that was involved in your life, that you encountered, is just a fragment of exactly what exists in this world and why there's so much suffering in the world. If the world was filled with empaths, all empaths, the world would be a beautiful, harmonious place. Yes, there may still be odd, slight trouble, but it would be a lot more decent. But the fact is, there's tribes of people split up in this world. There's tribes of empath on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum is narcissist and psychopath tribes. And that's what exists. Right? And this shadow hand, these psychopaths and narcissists, have infiltrated every aspect of this world that we live in. You may think you're free, but you're not really free because you don't see the bars that are in it. And they try and keep you contained. But there's one thing they can't stop, right? And it's your free thinking mind. Just like when you was involved with this narcissist in your life and you began to think clearly, you began to see the bigger picture. You began to see they're a parasite. You began to see they're a disgusting, despicable individual. Right? That's what you need to do with these ones too. Because no matter how hard they try, no matter how much brainwashing and population control they try to do, no matter how much orders they start to give people on their cell phones, like agents in the Matrix, ultimately, they can't stop your free thinking mind. And I want you to know, empath, you have a free thinking mind. So the next time you get angry at a politician, just think of the bigger picture. Just think of what they're dealing with. Empathize with them. How many people have they got disrupting their, calm state? Because that's what, just like happened to you in a romantic relationship or a friendship, a family member, a colleague or associate. They disrupted your calm state. You lost your mind. Sometimes they make you lose your mind. You can suffer with mental health. These politicians, these leaders in churches or mosques or synagogues or temples, some of them are under control as well, you know? And everyone's facing a lot of stress. So just empathize, you know? I'm not making this video so you sway towards one political party, or you sway towards one religion, or you sway towards one, you know, I'm not making this video for that. I just want you to be aware of the globe holders that is the shadow hand, that are psychopaths and narcissists. Disgusting, despicable individuals that exist in our world. You know. So don't get angry, you know. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know. There's a lot of players in the game. You can't really hate the players. They've set up this game, this matrix, to exist like how it is. That's the only thing you really need to hate on. But if you practice gratitude, you enjoy your life, you meet someone authentic, you raise your family in a loving way, raise your children in a loving way. If you don't have children, be kind to others. They can't destroy you. The only way you're going to get corrupted is if you be like them. Don't let this experience you've gone through as a narcissist involved in your life to make you be like them. Right? Never be like them. Because that's all these so-called authentic good people that set out on their journey initially in the beginning, whether in the schooling system, religious institutions, political parties, when they set out with good intentions and they got corrupted. Don't be one to get corrupted in whatever line of work you're in. You're an important piece to this picture. You're not insignificant. You're a very important piece to this picture. Right? And sometimes God or the universe gives his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. So don't lose hope. I just want you to know that this narcissistic abusive experience is to enhance your consciousness, is to enhance your vision, is to help you see beneath the strings of the system that you live in, is to make you realize exactly what's happening in the world. Right? So you see it, you understand it, you know it. That's what it's about. That is what it's about. So anyway, if you'd like to know more about You Met the Narcissist for a Reason empath, click this video here. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.